The newscast with the latest coming in from the United States as the second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump has finally begun. It's day one of the infamous trial and the U.S. Senate has declared it constitutional with a 56-44 vote. Listen in.
On this vote, the ayes are 56, the nays are 44, and pursuant to S. 47, the Senate having voted in the affirmative on the foregoing question, the Senate shall proceed with the trial as provided under the provisions of that resolution.
The first test was all about the constitutionality of the trial. It was Donald Trump's lawyers versus Democrat impeachment managers. The vote came after hours of arguments. Trump's lawyers said the trial was not constitutional because he's out of office, while the Democrats pointed to precedent and the opinions of many legal scholars, including conservatives, who said the trial is valid.
As provided under the provisions.
But the section I read, judgment, in other words, the bad thing that can happen, the judgment, in cases of impeachment, i.e. what we are doing, shall not extend further than removal from office. What is so hard about that? Which of those words are unclear? Shall not extend further than removal from office. President Trump no longer is in office. The object of the Constitution has been achieved. He was removed by the voters.
Attorney Bruce Castor added that the real reason behind House of Representatives waiting to convict Donald Trump is because they do not wish to see him as a political rival in future. Castor added that the storming of the Capitol should be denounced in the most vigorous terms and the rioters should be prosecuted. The defense contention reflected that a small group of criminals, not Donald Trump, were responsible for the violence. The impeachment managers managed to pick up one vote from Republicans Bill Cassidy, Louisiana senator, who blamed the Trump's lawyer for their bad performance. A graphic video now showing the former president egging a rally to march to the Capitol and fight like hell against his re-election defeat, and images of the deadly attack on Congress that came soon after all were showcased as the trial opened on Tuesday. The trial is expected to be fast. Each side has up to 16 hours to make their case, and a final vote on whether to convict or acquit Donald Trump could take place early next week. The timeline would make it the fastest impeachment trial for a president in American history. And earlier during the day, we spoke to our correspondent Nick Harper. Let's listen into what inputs he has to share.
We have never seen a US president being impeached twice. We've also never seen a former president face an impeachment trial. And that is why Donald Trump's lawyers are arguing that this entire trial is unconstitutional, that it is simply illegal to try someone who has left office. Donald Trump is now a private citizen. He lives down in Florida. He has left the office of the presidency. So his lawyers were trying to get this thrown out. And that's what we saw during Tuesday's proceedings. 4 hours of legal debate from the Democrats as the prosecutors and from Donald Trump's lawyers as the defense about the constitutionality of this whole case. And at the end of the 4 hours, there was that vote, the senators deciding whether or not they thought that the Senate had the jurisdiction to take on this trial, whether or not it was legal. They said it was. They just needed a simple majority. The Democrats have that majority in the Senate. So that vote was always going to get through before we pass on to the opening arguments, which will start later on Wednesday. But Donald Trump's lawyers will undoubtedly return to that argument when they present their case, saying that it is unconstitutional and therefore unfair and unfit to try a person who has left the presidency, and therefore this shouldn't be something that should result in a conviction for the former president.
Now, in an unprecedented move, 6 Republicans joined the Democrats to vote for the constitutionality of Donald Trump's impeachment trial. All of them criticized Donald Trump's attorneys' lackluster arguments in the Senate today. This served as a major blow to former President Donald Trump. According to the latest reports coming in, even Donald Trump is unhappy with his impeachment lawyer, Bruce Castor's opening argument on the Senate floor. Castor, who is representing Trump alongside attorney David Schoen, delivered a dry, technical and sometimes meandering argument during the first day of the Senate impeachment trial. He topped it off with a lengthy praise for the House impeachment managers for a presentation on Trump's inciting of riots and the violence which unfolded later.
I'll be quite frank with you. We changed what we were going to do on account that we thought that the House manager's presentation was well done. And I wanted you to know that we have responses to those things. I was struck. I thought the House managers who spoke earlier were brilliant speakers. And I made some notes, and they'll hear about what I think about some of the things they said later when I'm closing the case. But I thought they were brilliant speakers, and I loved listening to them. And they were smart fellows.
The lawyer spoke for 20 minutes before addressing the 6th January insurrection and failed to directly address the president's actions or forcefully argue against the constitutionality of the impeachment trial. Reports say that Trump was almost screaming as Castor struggled to get at the heart of his defense team's argument. The ex-president was annoyed with the muted responses and prosecution's opening salvo. Many believe that the rockiness of the defense argument led Bill Cassidy to sway in the last moment and side with the Democrats. Not only him, Susan Collins and Texas Senator Ted Cruz, one of Donald Trump's staunchest allies, said he did not think the lawyers did, quote-unquote, the most effective job, while praising the Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin, who is acting as the Democrats' lead prosecutor, as impressive. All eyes are on the Donald Trump legal team, which was rather a last-minute adjustment. They will now be presenting their arguments on the second day of the trial. The question is whether their lackluster performance will cast a shadow over Trump's chances vis-a-vis the outcome of the Senate trial.
Affirmative on the foregoing question. The Senate shall proceed